They told you to work harder, but they never told you who you had to become. That's the real lie. It was never about waking up earlier or hustling more hours. It was about identity. But no one talks about that. No one told you that a broken identity can't build a powerful life. And now you're wondering why everything feels stuck, why you grind but never break through, why your vision feels like a ghost you chase in circles. Let me tell you the truth. You were trained to believe in effort, but never taught to believe in self. You were told believe in yourself like it was a cute poster, not a spiritual law, not a commandment of success. You were sold motivation, but they never gave you transformation. And you've been trying to win this war with the wrong weapons. Pause. Ask yourself this. Who do you actually think you are when nobody's watching? When failure whispers? When your plans collapse? When your bank account laughs at your goals? What name do you answer to? Because success doesn't respond to maybe. It doesn't listen to someday. Success listens to certainty, identity, decision. And if you haven't made that decision yet, you're living in a loop. You're not stuck because of your potential. You're stuck because of your programming. Napoleon Hill knew this before any podcast, before Instagram motivation, before hustle became a hashtag. He wrote, "Whatever the mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve." But he didn't mean wishful thinking. He meant full identity immersion. He meant you become the belief. You wear it. You walk in it. You stop trying. You become. But right now, you're trying to build a mansion on a cracked foundation. You're trying to grow an empire while secretly believing you're not enough, and the mind can't carry two masters. It will always obey the loudest belief. You can journal affirmations, you can chant mantras, but if your internal identity is still rooted in doubt, your subconscious will win that battle. Every single time. So here's what they never told you. You're not fighting time. You're not fighting money. You're fighting the old version of you. The one that was installed by a society that rewards compliance. Installed by teachers who never owned businesses. Installed by parents who feared risk. Installed by friends who settled. You inherited their limits and called them your personality. But those aren't your thoughts. Those are echoes. And it's time to shut them down. This is the mental reset, not motivation, mutation. The old you, the hesitant one, the doubter, the overthinker, must die for the new one to live. That's not poetry. That's science. You can't build a castle while renting space in your former self. And make no mistake, your former self will beg to survive. It will scream logic. It will demand caution. It will wear the mask of reason and tell you be realistic. But that voice, that's the liar. That's the software glitch keeping you average. Now let me ask you, who would you be if the old voice went silent? Who would you be if the doubt was replaced with discipline? What if your default setting was belief, not motivation that fades after a video, not hype that dies by morning? I'm talking about identity, the kind you don't need to talk about. The kind that walks in a room and doesn't flinch. The kind that makes decisions before fear has a chance to argue. That's what Hill meant when he wrote, "There are no limitations to the mind except those we acknowledge." And every time you say, "I'm just not that kind of person," you reinforce the chains. But you're not here to repeat the pattern. You're here to rewrite it. This is not about becoming someone new. It's about returning to who you were before the world told you who to be, before they lied, before they boxed your spirit, before they convinced you that average was noble. It's not. There is nothing moral about playing small, nothing virtuous about shrinking for others. Success requires ego death, not arrogance, but absolute belief. Because this world bends to the mind that refuses to fold. It listens to those who've already decided, and right now, you must decide. You've spent years negotiating with fear, making deals with doubt, compromising your calling. Now you burn the contract. Here's the new agreement. I no longer identify with hesitation. I do not explain my vision to people who haven't earned the right to hear it. I do not wait for conditions to align. I align myself. This is the mental operating system upgrade. The internal rebirth. You're not here to try your best. You're here to rewrite your entire wiring, from belief to identity to results. So the next time someone asks, "Who do you think you are?" you don't hesitate. You answer with fire in your tone. I am the one who decided, and I don't explain decisions to the undecided. Because from this moment forward, you don't chase goals. You install identities. And when identity is installed, performance becomes automatic. This is your mental reset. The lies are done. The negotiation is over. You're not waiting for proof anymore. You're becoming the proof. Right now, right here. Say it. I am the one. I do not hesitate. I build. I become. Your subconscious doesn't care what's true. It listens to what's repeated. Read that again. Because this is the part they left out in every school, every job, every self-help book that sold you surface-level motivation. Success isn't about truth. It's about programming. And the most powerful machine you've ever owned, your subconscious mind, was hijacked before you ever had a chance to defend it. From the moment you were born, you were a sponge, not of facts, but of frequencies. You absorbed the beliefs like oxygen. And now those same beliefs, they're running the show. Not because they're correct, but because they were repeated enough to become familiar. And the brain, it worships familiarity. It will choose a lie repeated 1,000 times over a truth spoken once. So when you say, "I'm just not a confident person," "I'm not disciplined," "I always mess up," "I don't know how to start," that's not your truth. That's your programming. Napoleon Hill understood this before we had neuroscience, brain scans, or mindset coaches on every corner. He called it auto-suggestion, the act of planting dominant thoughts in the soil of the mind until they take root and shape the world around you. Let me say it again. What you say to yourself becomes what the world says back. Look at Edison. He failed 10,000 times trying to build the light bulb, 10,000 failures, 10,000. You think he was motivated every day? You think he didn't hear the whispers of doubt? No. He had one edge, auto-suggestion. He fed his mind one line, "I will illuminate the world," and he repeated it until it overpowered every failure, every laugh, every moment of exhaustion. Or look at Charles Schwab. He wasn't born a leader. He trained himself into one. He wrote and spoke his vision every single morning before the world could argue with it. I am the man who turns industry into harmony. I align chaos into power. Not a quote for the world, a command to his subconscious. And that's the difference. The greats don't ask for belief. They install it. The ordinary wait to feel confident. The extraordinary repeat confidence until the feeling obeys. And here's where you come in. If your internal dialogue sounds like self-doubt, then it's time to hijack the system. You don't fix your beliefs through willpower. You overwrite them with repetition. Here's your new law. I say it. I hear it. I become it. Every single day. Not when you feel like it. Not when you're inspired. Because you won't always be inspired. But your subconscious is always listening. And it does not filter truth from fiction. It only absorbs. That's why so many people stay stuck. They speak defeat, then wonder why success avoids them. They say, "I'm broke, I'm tired, I'm lost, I can't win." And the mind replies, "As you command." This is not poetry. This is neurological law. Your subconscious does not argue. It installs. And what gets installed becomes the life you live. Now let me tell you what to do. Every morning, before the noise of the world, before the scroll, the notifications, the doubt, you say this: I am disciplined. I am powerful. I am becoming exactly who I said I would be. I don't wait for proof. I speak it first. I move like it's done. Say it with tension in your body. Say it with your chest lifted. Say it with breath, with rhythm, with fire in your tone. Say it until your old self walks out of the room, because that's the real magic. Repetition rewires reality, but only if you speak with authority, only if you treat your voice as law. You don't try to believe. You repeat until belief obeys. Understand this. Your subconscious mind is neutral. It doesn't punish. It doesn't reward. It installs what's spoken. So if you keep feeding it weakness, it will keep producing weakness. But if you start today, if you repeat power like it's oxygen, you will start to walk different, talk different, move different, not because the world changed, but because you did. This is the method. Write your identity. Speak it out loud. Repeat it every morning and night. Watch your thoughts obey. Watch your world shift. And when doubt comes knocking, because it will, you don't argue with it. You don't entertain it. You out-repeat it. You drown it in identity until it drowns itself. This is how you override decades of programming. Not through effort, through voice. Your voice is the sculptor. Your words are the chisel. Your belief is the marble. Now carve. Do not wait for evidence. Do not wait for confidence. Do not wait for permission. Speak like you've already won. Because the subconscious doesn't care if it's true. It cares if it's repeated. Say this out loud. I am not trying. I am training. I am not hoping. I am becoming. Say it again. Say it like your life depends on it. Because it does. Now say this daily. Before the world gets a word in, I command my mind. I speak belief. I walk in identity. I am the one. You cannot serve two identities. One must die. The old you, the one built by doubt, hesitation, fear, and compromise. It cannot walk with you into the promised future, not because it's evil, but because it's too small. And this is where most people stall. They try to change without making a decision. They leave the back door open, just in case, a backup plan, a fallback, a mental escape route for when it gets hard. But listen to this. You will always return to the identity you refuse to kill. You can't dip your toe into transformation. You must burn the ships. You must make the old version of yourself impossible to return to. This is not a motivational line. It's psychological warfare, because every time you leave an opening, doubt will walk through it. Napoleon Hill called it definiteness of decision. He said those who reach decisions promptly and clearly and change them slowly, if at all, are the ones who succeed. Think about that. Not the most talented, not the most educated, the most decided. The world follows the man who moves without hesitation. Cortés, the Spanish commander, landed on the shores of Veracruz with hundreds of men. And what did he do the moment they arrived? He ordered the ships burned. No retreat, no option but forward. You think that was risky? No, it was clarity. When the mind has no backup, it finds a way forward. And when you have nothing to return to, you become unstoppable. But here's the modern problem. We worship options. We keep our identities open. We say things like, I'm trying this out. If it doesn't work, I'll go back to, I'll give it a few months and see. That's not commitment. That's negotiation. An identity does not respect negotiators. It only obeys decisiveness. You cannot install a new self while still protecting the old one. One of them has to go, and you know exactly which. The one that plays small, the one that hesitates, the one that second guesses, overthinks, waits for approval, needs reassurance. Kill that version. Not tomorrow, right now. You don't need more information. You don't need a better plan. You need a funeral for who you were, and a resurrection of who you decide to be, because that's how rebirth works. One identity dies, another rises. You can't sprint with one foot on the brake. You can't fly while checking if the cage door's still open. You must say, I've already decided. Not I hope, not I'll try. Not I wish. Say it, I've already decided. Decide to become the one. Not when it's easy. Not when it's trending. Not when you feel motivated. Now. When your old identity is screaming for survival. When the comfort is whispering. Just take a step back. That's when you stare it down and say, I don't negotiate with my old self. Let me tell you about Julius Caesar. He was outnumbered. His enemies thought he would retreat. But Caesar didn't bring a backup fleet. He brought belief. He said, I came, I saw, I conquered. No stall, no plan B, no mental safety net. That's the spirit that rewrites history. And that same spirit is buried under your hesitation, waiting to rise. So here's your line in the sand. Decide and then move like it's done. Because when you decide, truly decide, your energy changes. You stop leaking power, and the universe responds to clarity. You will notice it. People treat you different. Doors open. Your speech sharpens. Your walk changes, not because of magic, but because your identity finally locked in, and people can feel it. Now say this: I do not return. I do not retreat. I do not explain. I am the shift. I am the one who moved. Every time you feel that pull to return to comfort, repeat this: I've already decided. Say it again. I've already decided. Say it until your old identity packs its bags. This is not about motivation. This is about mental bloodshed. You are killing what no longer belongs, so your power can live. Repeat this loop until it engraves your soul. I serve one identity. I do not share the throne. I have decided, and I walk like it's already mine. Let others wait. Let others weigh their options. Let others hesitate. You burn the bridge, because there is no way back from the man or woman you're becoming. Now say it again. Say it with finality. I've already decided, and move like it's done. Your environment is not neutral. It is either building you or breaking you, feeding your future or dragging it to its death. You think your mindset is personal? It's not. It's contagious. And you catch it from your environment, from the words you hear, from the energy around you, from the standard of people in your orbit. Napoleon Hill called it the mastermind principle. He said no mind is complete by itself. It needs contact with other minds to grow and expand. Translation: you become like the minds you align with. Not someday, not over time, immediately. If you surround yourself with average ambition, your hunger will decay. If you sit around people who joke about failure, your dreams will shrink to survive. If you tolerate lazy energy, your subconscious will start calling that normal. You want to rise? Audit your atmosphere, because your identity is glued to what surrounds it. Even lions can forget they're lions. If raised by sheep, look at every dominant figure in history. Andrew Carnegie had his entire board built as a mastermind circle. Ford, Edison, Burbank, and Firestone would gather in the woods for idea sprints. They called it the vagabonds. These weren't accidents. They knew, my next level will be unlocked by the mind sitting next to me. So ask yourself, who's speaking around you? What's being normalized in your space? Excuses or execution? Vision or gossip? Growth or decay? Because you are not just building an identity, you're defending it from sabotage. And the enemy isn't always loud. Sometimes it smiles. Sometimes it's familiar. Sometimes it's been with you for years. But if it's not aligned, it's a leak, and leaks sink empires. You must become violent with your energy protection. Not rude, not cold, clear. Because greatness is allergic to weak environments. When someone walks into your life, your room, your call, ask yourself, does this energy support the identity I'm becoming? And if not, it's gone. No explanation, no guilt, no half commitments. This is protection, not arrogance. Let me remind you, eagles don't consult pigeons on how to fly. Builders don't ask spectators what they think. You don't need the approval of energy you've already outgrown. This is what Napoleon Hill meant when he said, deliberately seek the company of people who influence you to think and act for yourself. This is not just about having positive friends. It's about strategic alignment. You build a circle so committed to evolution that failure becomes awkward in their presence. You walk in and they don't ask how you're doing. They ask, what did you build this week? What book rewired your thinking? What part of your identity did you shed? These are the rooms that lift you higher. And if you're not in one, you build it. Don't wait to be invited. Start with one other aligned mind and build from there. One powerful conversation can do more than 100 motivational videos, because what's spoken around you will become what's spoken within you. So now, here's your internal code. I do not allow weak energy in my atmosphere. I do not explain my boundaries. I do not tolerate misaligned frequencies. This is how you protect your future, because your mind is the seed, but your environment is the soil. Even the strongest seed dies in toxic ground. Burn this into your operating system. If the energy doesn't elevate, I eliminate. If the voice doesn't align, I decline. If the circle doesn't challenge, I redesign. You're not just cleaning up clutter, you're cleaning up influence, and your future self depends on it. Start now. Clean your contacts. Audit your timeline. Check your calendar. Where does your energy go? Who's draining it? Who's sharpening it? Because if it's not sharpening, it's subtracting. Here's your identity upgrade. I protect my power like it's sacred. I do not entertain low-frequency invitations. I attract warriors. I align with giants. I rise with those who build. Say that every morning. Say that when doubt tries to re-enter. Say that when old patterns call you back. You're not available anymore. Now say this out loud. I do not allow weak energy in my atmosphere. Again, I do not allow weak energy in my atmosphere. One more time, say it like your life depends on it, because it does. You're not lonely. You're aligned. You're not isolated. You're being prepared. And when the new circle forms around you, it will recognize your standard, because you enforced it first. Let others compromise. Let others lower their standard to be accepted. Let others explain why they tolerate misalignment. You protect your identity like a kingdom, because if the walls fall, the throne is next. Say it again. I do not allow weak energy in my atmosphere, and walk like it's already clean. You've been taught to do just enough to clock in, enough to meet the standard, enough to avoid criticism. But enough was the lie. Success was never built on minimums. It was born from overflow. Not how much can I get away with, but how far beyond expectation can I go. Napoleon Hill called it one of the great secrets of wealth. Render more service than that for which you are paid, and sooner or later you will receive compound rewards. This wasn't strategy, this was identity. Hill studied giants, and every one of them over-delivered. Not once, but daily, relentlessly. Because they weren't performing for applause, they were proving something deeper. This is who I am. Look at Charles M. Schwab. He didn't rise to become Carnegie's right-hand man by being good. He became indispensable. Because every room he walked into, he brought more energy than expected, more clarity than requested, more solutions than anyone asked for. And Carnegie said this Schwab could get more things done with a smile than other men could with frowns and force. That's over-delivery as presence. Ford didn't stop at building cars. He rewrote the system that made them. Edison didn't invent one light bulb. He created over 1,000 prototypes until the world changed. And what about you? What part of you has been hiding behind bare minimum? They told you, don't do too much. Don't let people take advantage. Don't be the one who always gives. And so you held back. You closed off your excellence. You made your power conditional. But what if that was the trap? What if playing fair was the very thing keeping you small? Let me offer you something deeper. Over-delivery is not for them. It's for you. Because the world pays attention when someone exceeds expectation without being asked. Success is magnetic to those who give more than they owe, because it's rare, it's powerful, and it signals identity. I don't do it for reward. I do it because it's who I am. Detached from outcome, detached from praise, detached from validation, and anchor into identity. Because when you move like a builder, even when no one's watching, you become unstoppable. Carnegie didn't promote based on skill. He promoted based on attitude. He'd test people quietly, give them a simple task, watch how far they went. Most did the obvious, but the rare ones, they'd double it, refine it, present it better than expected. Those were the ones he built empires with. This is your new law. I exceed expectations, not for applause, but because my identity demands it. Repeat it again. I exceed expectations because it's who I am. You are no longer doing things for points. You're doing them from power. You don't help people so they like you. You help because your identity is rooted in contribution. You don't push harder to get noticed. You push harder because mediocrity offends your... Success isn't complicated. It's just misunderstood. The world rewards the one who gives beyond the ask and punishes the one who waits to be told. Let me say it plain. You don't get paid for time. You get paid for transformation. And the one who delivers transformation always wins. Even if not today, even if no one sees it yet. But the laws of the universe are watching, and they always balance the books from this moment on. No shortcuts, no just get it done. No, that's not my job. Every move becomes a reflection of your identity. Your emails, precise. Your word, unshakable. Your service, beyond. Not because you have to, but because that's who you are now. They lied when they said, don't do too much, you'll get used. No, you'll get chosen. By rooms that see your standard. By people who recognize your spirit. By opportunities that demand excellence. So rewire the story. Say this, I am not here to match the standard. I set it. I am not waiting to be noticed. I move like I'm already chosen. I don't give to be seen. I give because it's in my blood. Let others hold back. Let others negotiate with their greatness. Let others ration their effort. You over-deliver, always, because that's who you are becoming. A leader, a force, an empire in motion. Say this identity loop daily. I exceed expectations because it's who I am. I don't count the cost, I count the character. I bring excellence to everything with my name on it. This is your final decision. From this moment on, you are the standard. You are the example. You are the over-deliverer. And if they ask why, you say nothing. You just keep building. Now say it loud. I exceed expectations because it's who I am. And move like the reward is already yours, because it is. They said success was talent. They said it was strategy, luck, connections. But Hill knew the truth. Repetition is the language of the subconscious, and the subconscious is the control room of your destiny. You've spent years repeating the wrong things. I'm not ready. I'm not like them. I'll try. I hope. But hope is not a system. Trying is not a decision. Wishing is not becoming. So we change the language. Right now, you don't rise to your goals. You fall to your rituals. And the ones who rewire, they don't wait for motivation. They create mental autopilot. Faith is not just belief. Faith is repetition backed by movement. It's when your steps say what your mouth says. It's when your schedule reflects your identity. It's when your rituals preach louder than your goals. Napoleon Hill didn't ask you to wish for success. He demanded that you saturate your mind with its identity. Every morning, every night, over and over again. Because your mind doesn't know the difference between fake and real. It only knows what's repeated. So you must say it until you become it. You must walk it until doubt disappears from your bones. Repetition is not boring. It's holy. It's not mundane. It's magnetic. It's the hammer that breaks the old identity, one swing at a time. So we build your ritual. Every day you speak your new identity aloud. You act like it's already yours. You kill hesitation with motion. Say it in the mirror. I'm already becoming. I don't ask for permission to be powerful. I move like it's done. Every hour whisper, I am the standard now. I don't chase, I attract. I create, command, and construct my future. And when the old voice returns, the one that doubts, that delays, that fears, you override it with ritual. This is your faith in action, not just belief. Embodied belief, where every small action is sacred, every word becomes law, every moment is programming. Look back for a moment, not to regret, but to realize you were always one repetition away, one identity loop away, one shift in daily standard away. And now, you are no longer available for the old story. You don't negotiate with weakness. You don't rehearse failure. You don't recite limitation. Your language is different now. Your schedule is weaponized. Your walk is prophetic. Let the world wonder what changed. You won't explain, because explanation is for the confused, and you're no longer confused. You're certain. They will notice. They'll say you act different. You seem focused. You're glowing. But they won't know what you know, that this was built in silence, in solitude, in repetition. You don't owe them answers. You don't owe them permission. You are the answer. And now we lock it in. Your final loop, your new language, your daily ritual. Say this loud. I act like it's done. I walk like I already have it. I speak like I've already become it. I don't flinch. I don't wait. I build. Let the world wonder what happened. Let them feel the shift, because I don't owe them proof. I am the proof. No fallback, no return, no plan B. Your life now moves on repetition, faith, and fire. You move like the decision is permanent, because it is. You move like success is your bloodline, because it is. You move like the lie is dead, and the new identity is permanent, because it is. One more time, lock it in. I walk like it's already mine. I act like it's already done. I don't hesitate. I build. I become. Let the world adjust to your new frequency. You're not coming back to average. You are the reset. Say it loud, and move like it's done.